Ladies and gentlemen, when I tell you it's all connected, it really is. When it comes to the gaming industry, a lot of the slops and people that you find, like from Sweet Baby Inc. and whatnot, and other consultants and all these people who they try to pretend to be experts and they're telling you the truth, they promise, wink, wink, blah, blah, all that other stuff. It's all connected, man. If you guys remember, I did a video on the New York Times recent attack on gamers for Assassin's Creed Shadows where they're trying to run damage control, and they quoted a particular Japanese consultant to try to bolster their argument as to why gamers are so evil. Well, apparently, it's just been revealed that that Japanese consultant that they used at the New York Times was a Sweet Baby Inc. employee.
Do not go in there. Woo!
Guys, more and more and more as more information comes out about this company, man. I'm telling you, this stuff runs extremely deep. The grift that's been happening over the last 10 years, the con that they've been having for the last 10 years, where they've been selling racial grifting as some form of a service or whatever the case may be with Sweet Baby Inc., where they're going to create problems and then provide the solution. This has been a massive grift for a decade, and now it's just slowly but surely starting to unravel right in front of our eyes. So let's get into this article, guys, from That Park Place. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. The so-called Japanese consultant that Ubisoft and the New York Times used to attack gamers over Assassin's Creed Shadows turns out to be an employee of Sweet Baby Inc. In a most recent hit piece by the New York Times that appears to have done in collaboration with Ubisoft, the outlet's Zachary Small cited a so-called Japanese consultant and translator who claimed that criticism of the game was being done by individuals in the West using translators, and that the Japanese people were not upset with how the game not only features Yasuke as a protagonist, but that he's depicted as a samurai. Now, I talked about this in stream, and a lot of people were blown away, right? A lot of people didn't even realize that this was a thing. But yes, this is what they're using as a coping mechanism. They're telling you that, oh, all the angry Japanese players online right now, all the angry Japanese tweets you see, all the angry Japanese comments you see on Assassin's Creed Shadows trailers and videos, yeah, those are not real Japanese people. Those are just white gamers that are using Google Translate to try to pretend to be Japanese. This is the fucking cope that they are experiencing right now. I hope you guys understand that. Like, that is massive levels of gaslighting and cope. Hashimoto told the New York Times it was people in the West who were upset with seeing Yasuke as a samurai. Small added that Hashimoto explained that many of the negative online comments written in Japanese appear to have been roughly translated from English. This narrative that Hashimoto, Small, and Ubisoft were trying to spin was outrageous to begin with, given that Small had written just 2 paragraphs ahead of his citation of Hashimoto that Ubisoft attempted to assuage concerns about the game's authenticity, apologizing in a lengthy statement for promotional materials that it said had bothered some Japanese audience. Now, again, if Ubisoft truly believed that it was all just white gamers, right, that are using Google Translate to attack people or to attack the developers in Japanese text to make it look like Japanese people were doing it, then they would not have apologized to the Japanese, right? They made a 4 to 5 page apology to Japanese audiences only, mind you, about all the drama that was happening around Assassin's Creed Shadows. If you really believed it was just the Western people doing that, you would not have made a public apology to the Japanese people who seemingly are not upset and they all love it, right? It's all fucking gaslighting. What about all the Japanese people, the Japanese YouTubers? Are they faking themselves too? Are they wearing masks? Like, what kind of nonsense is this? Even before this, Small noted the inclusion of Yasuke was the primary complaint, but observers also pointed to the presence of Chinese architecture and period inappropriate flags. The controversy became so heated that a small right-wing political party in Japan formally asked the government to comment on what is considered historical inaccuracies. If it was just Western people, why was a Japanese political party requesting an investigation into the game? And why did Ubisoft issue a so-called apology to Japanese gamers? Exactly. That's my point. Like, how can you say it's all Western people for the most part, and then you made a public apology to Japanese people, and then you had Japanese government involved in this twice, because it wasn't just once, it was twice. But this is the best part about this, right? This is why I love the internet, man. And I love when people do real journalism like this article. It says, nevertheless, it's been discovered that Hashimoto was in fact an employee of Sweet Baby Inc. from February 2020 to April 2023, as noted by his own LinkedIn profile. My God, bro. My God, the absolute self-own that is happening here right now. Freelance narrative design consultant. Sweet Baby Inc. and their grift runs deep. This is the mafia of gaming. I'm telling you right now, people are running damage control for this company because they probably rely on the income from this company to some extent. There is a lot of money to be had in racial grifting, a lot of money. This is why so many people do it, because it brings them fame, it brings them fortune, and it's just a classic tale of money leading everybody's ambitions, right? This is a big issue with Sweet Baby Inc. in the gaming industry. How the fuck are you going to leave this up for people to realize that you are an employee of Sweet Baby Inc.? How are you going to leave that up? That clearly disvalues your entire argument of anything, because you are clearly trying to work this entire narrative from the aspect that's going to protect companies like Sweet Baby Inc. and directly Sweet Baby Inc. as well. Not only is Hashimoto a former employee of Sweet Baby Inc., but he's an activist journalist whose articles are featured at Polygon, Siliconera, Them, and multiple outlets owned by Gamers Group. Mark Kern Grum shared one article Hashimoto wrote on Medium where he criticized Animal Crossing New Horizons by acknowledging Japan's history of colonial rule. Yeah, so this person is a hardcore activist, okay? And this is amazing and expected that they are used by Ubisoft and the New York Times to run damage control for an activist game, right? It's so fucking obvious at this point, and it's amazing because you're going to have people out there like Mighty Cuck and everybody who are going to gaslight you and tell you, no, that's not really happening, and that's because they're so desperate to shill for the mainstream that they've been shilling for years that they can't even bring themselves to admit the truth of what's happening in front of them, bro. You guys are 100% lying to yourselves and lying to your fan base by not talking about Yasuke and the reason why he was included, and how everybody who has defended this from the mainstream has been proven to be linked to SBI or some form of consultancy group at some point in time. It's insane. It really is insane to me. I feel like I'm going crazy at this point that people can't even notice this shit. It is unsurprising that Ubisoft, the New York Times would use Hashimoto as a so-called expert. And again, they tried to reference this man as an expert, bro. This is why I told you guys in the last video, if somebody is called an expert by the mainstream, just realize they're not an expert, okay? They're just being used as a prop for whatever reason. It's an old play the Access Media uses. For example, Amazon Prime previously used this play in the lead up to the release of The Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power Season 1. However, instead of using the New York Times, Amazon went to Vanity Fair and writers Anthony Bresnikan and Joanna Robinson. Again, and they all try to pretend to be fucking experts in this entire situation. Look at this. How gay can you be in Dragon's Dogma 2, an investigation? This is what he writes, bro. Are you serious right now? Like, I can't even, man. So listen, at the end of the day, man, this person, Hashimoto, whatever, it's very clear where they are from, where they stand, and everything that they have said is a lie to protect the old guard, right? It's to protect the mainstream industry. It's to protect the diversity consultancy groups that make a ton of money by essentially extorting these companies for money and convincing them that they're needed by creating problems that they themselves will provide the solution for. It's such an old school fucking metric. It's such an old school method, I should say, of trying to make money, and it's as old as time. And they're going to continue to do it so long as they're able to get away with it. But I think it's becoming harder and harder for them to get away with it, which is why they're on such an aggressive attack against people like myself. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.